Hey guys, what's going on? I want to take a quick look at Solana. Ticker for this is SOL, and I'm currently on the weekly time frame. If this is your first time here and you haven't seen my previous videos of this coin, analyzing Solana, I'll give you a brief overview of what's happening on the macro time frame, the weekly. But before I do that, a couple things. Number one, if you're not subscribed and you want to be notified when I release new TA videos, I do about 2 or 3 every single day. Except for today, I got a little bit lazy. This is the first one and probably the only one of the day, but I'll make up for it tomorrow. So if you want to get notified, click subscribe, click the bell, click on all. Also, I'm going to put a link to the exchange that I'm personally using to trade these assets in both the pinned comment and the description. Most centralized exchanges, they require you to submit your personal documentation, but the one I linked in the pinned comment and description, they won't ask you for anything, right? So, but you may need a VPN to access it, so I also put a link to a VPN you can use if you want. There's a promotion there. Okay, so back to Solana. This has been trading very technically, meaning that a lot of the key levels have been respected and are currently being respected. This being the weekly, I'll kind of just go over what's going on here. This is going to be obviously a resistance level. And if you're going to trade this asset, these are the levels that I recommend that you draw on your chart. It's going to make it a lot easier to see these on a higher time frame. Okay, another significant level that you should draw on your chart if you want to trade this, just take a horizontal line and click and paste it right above these two candle bodies here. And I'll get into the details of why these levels are so significant later on in the video. Okay, the next level, paste a horizontal line right here. Okay, going further down, we have this range right here. I drew this as a range, so take 2 horizontal lines, paste one right above these two candle bodies, and then one just below these candle bodies right here, and then mark it out as a range. Now, this level is important to have marked because if the price dumps back down, you can look to this level as a key support, right? You see it was resistance right here. Former resistance will oftentimes flip to support, which is what we're seeing right here. And speaking of that, also draw this downsloping diagonal level of resistance right here, right? So start at these candle bodies and connect it to these candle bodies right here, okay? And just pull it down. And relating to what I just said, previous levels of resistance will oftentimes act as a support. And more often than not, once a strong level of resistance has been breached, it'll almost act like a magnet and pull the price back down for a retest. And that's exactly what's happening here. So in the last video I did, here, I'm going to change the time frame, give you a better look here. In the last video I did, I mentioned that we're kind of in this channel right here. That broke down, Bitcoin dumped, the rest of the altcoin market followed. And now we're just basically coming back down to this downsloping level of resistance to retest it. We haven't actually quite made it down, very, very close. So this could come further down and get a solid retest of this. But this is the key line that a lot of traders are going to look at, right? So as of right now, look to this diagonal level of once resistance as a support. Okay, and hopefully the price will bounce off here, okay? That's what I'm looking to see. If this level is breached, down here is going to be the next region where I will potentially look for an entry. Ideally, I don't want that to happen because if the price comes back down here, then this diagonal resistance line is going to be resistance once again, right? We want to use it as a support level to make our move higher up. As you can see, once broken, we came up to this horizontal level that I recommended that you draw on your chart. We sold off, and here we are. We're just kind of between these two levels right now. So this line here and this horizontal line is the current trading range. So the play here, I suppose, is if you wanted to take a trade, you could theoretically take a long, and this is going to be your target to the upside if you took that trade. Me personally, I'm not taking it. So I'm going to take it down to the daily again. If the price does make it back down here, I may consider it. Or you know what? Let me check something here. I'm going to take a Fibonacci and I'm going to run it from the swing low to the swing high here. And I want to see if we're on a level. Okay, we are. The price is respecting this fib retracement level. So you see the first level here, the 38.2. This was the first bounce point. Okay, we came down to it, bounced off, came down to it again, bounced off. Now we breached it. So now I think this level is going to be a resistance. So you see also this lower level here, it was the 382, the lower level of the channel. So on the way back up, yeah, we are likely going to get a little bit of resistance right here. But currently, if you look where we are on the 50% retracement level. Okay, so if I was to enter a trade right here, I would just place my stop loss below this wick right here, and then I would target this upper region. So let's see what kind of risk reward this particular trade would get me if I took it, but I'm not actually going to take it. I just want to give you guys an example of how to look for trade opportunities. So this would allow me to have a very tight stop loss and very relatively conservative target to the upside. So this trade just here, buying here, stop loss below this previous wick, targeting the first major level of resistance, would give me a risk reward ratio of 1 to 6.32, meaning for every $1 I risk, I could potentially get over $6 to the upside. In percentage terms, I would risk 1.71%. for almost 11% to the upside. So this is a pretty good trade. I mean, the stop loss is going to be so close, there's a pretty good chance that you might get stopped out. But again, it's a little over 1%. It's not a big deal. All right, so I want to switch up the chart and I want to show you something else here. In the last videos, I marked these lines and we had broken out of this long-term resistance level. And at the time, we had broken out of this long-term diagonal resistance level. We did the retest and then we started forming this bullish pattern. This is almost like a symmetrical triangle or like a bullish pennant kind of formation. Normally, this will be a continuation pattern and the price will continue in the upward direction. Unfortunately, I think Bitcoin took a tumble. The rest of the alts followed, as I mentioned, and we came down to the next level. Now, this lower region here, the former support of this triangle, once broken, served as the resistance on the way up. Again, that's another example of broken support serving as the resistance. So as you can see, came up, price couldn't breach it, smashed back down. And when we smash back down, this upper range of the former triangle is now serving as a support. Right? So it was resistance here and now it's support. So both of these lines are still in play. And if you want to trade this asset, I recommend that you draw them on your chart, because if the price does end up coming back up here, you can look to this upsloping line as a potential level of resistance. So yeah, I would recommend marking those on your chart in addition to all the other levels that I recommended that you draw. But anyway, that's just a brief overview of Solana. We're currently sitting on the 50% retracement level. Again, to get that level so you can mark it on your chart, just take a Fibonacci retracement tool, run it from the bottom up to the top, the swing low to the swing high. That's going to give you these levels, and you can see that the price is respecting these levels. So you know if it happens to break down, then you can look maybe around here, the 61.8 being the next level, and that may also line up with this downsloping level of support, which was once the resistance. Oh yeah, and there's one other thing I want to show you. If I go back to the weekly time frame, you'll see the levels that I mentioned at the start of this video, and I anticipate these will be strong levels of resistance if we are able to hold this level as a support and work our way up. And the way I got these levels, well, the obvious way is I just look to the price. I look left and we have significant price responses at these levels. So it was resistance right here, support right here, resistance level right here. But also this particular chart lines up perfectly with the Fibonacci tool. So if I take a Fib retracement, and this time if I run it from the top all the way down to the bottom, you see these levels that I drew in accordance with the price action, they line up pretty much perfectly with the with these Fibonacci levels here, right? So you have this range right here, you have the 786 up to the peak here, so that's why I drew it as a range. And then of course the 50% level lines up pretty much perfectly with this previous swing high right here. So what that means, seeing as how I have so much confluence at this level, at this about $46 range, if the price ends up making its way back up, I may look to this level as a potential short opportunity with a conservative stop loss and price target. My price target on this trade would be just down here. Anyway, guys, that about wraps it up for Solana. Once again, if you want to get notified when I release these TA videos, click subscribe, click the bell, click on all. If you want to place a trade Solana or any of the other coins that I talk about on this channel, the link to the exchange I'm using is in both the pinned comment and the description. All right, guys, have a good evening. Bye.